Hello, hello, and welcome to the KCK Inspire Moments with Kaylin radio show. I am your host, Kaylin John Louis, and I am thrilled to have you all join me on the air today. Y'all, this is a very exciting time. And for those who are listening, you know you are already listening to a show that just has good inspiration, motivation, and just I do everything I can to empower others. But y'all, this show is going to be so special to me and sweet to me. And I'll tell you why in just a few moments. But I encourage you right now to download the Hallelujah 95.3 app so that you can listen to this show on the go on your electronic devices and tag someone you know, have them tune in. I really want everybody to tune in today because, like I said, this is a very special radio show because I am turning 19 tomorrow. My birthday is tomorrow. I'm so excited just to see another year of life. But being 18 and experiencing my first year of college was definitely a time of significant growth and self discovery. I truly took the time to learn more about myself and cultivate the woman that I am becoming. And it's been a journey filled with challenges and triumphs, but through it all, I've gained insights that I feel are worthy of sharing. And I really feel like sharing it could be a benefit to those listening. So, I want everybody to know that even if you're dealing with similar experiences that I'm going to talk about, or you're just looking for some inspiration, my reflections can offer guidance and encouragement, and it really gives you just some extra kick. I know that I'm not super in my age and I haven't been around long for a long time. I'm not 50, I'm not anything like that. But I do feel like God has people go through things strategically at certain points of their lives, not so that you can keep it to yourself, but so you can also be a testimony to someone else. And I truly feel like this year was one for the books with me. And reflecting on this past year, I've also recognized the importance of embracing change, staying resilient in the face of adversity, and continuously striving for personal growth. And I've really learned to spend more time with my loved ones and value the just comfort of stepping outside of your comfort zone. It can be uncomfortable, but I've learned the joy and the greatness that comes about it. And most importantly, I realize that every experience, good or bad, shapes who we are. So today, my topic of discussion is the lessons I learned at 18. And I hope that my journey will resonate with you and perhaps spark some reflections of your own. Here's to celebrating growth, embracing the future, and striving to be the best version of ourselves. Now, this is going to be me talking about lessons I learned at 18, but I also am going to be talking about lessons that I learned in my first year of college because all of those things have really been what's impacted me over the last year. I turned 18 after graduating from high school and getting my AA. And then I had a few months and then I was in college. And so much happened personally, academically, spiritually, mentally. I really feel like this was really the year where I recognized my saw myself in a lot of different places that I hadn't. And it took me having to really go through some personal self reflection to be able to ignite my confidence again, ignite my self love again, and find a new way of loving myself. So let's start with college, some of the things that I learned. So, first of all, to those who've been in college listening, you'll probably resonate with some of these, but to those who may be listening and you are somebody who's about to go to college, somebody who's currently in college, this is something that I've learned, which is don't go into college with preconceived notions about how college will be. I think so many times we hear advice from people of, okay, when you get to college, this is going to happen and you're going to experience this and you're going to experience that. And I heard that from a lot of my friends. And I think some of the things, yes, that they said were accurate, but a lot of times sometimes when you tell people preconceived notions or you hear so much, you may create a picture of what you think college is going to be like. And then when you get there and it's completely opposite, it can freak you out a little bit. And so for me, I had to learn from day one when I got there, okay, people told me what college would be like, but I'm going to have to discover it for myself. I'm going to have to see it for myself in a whole nother way than I thought I was going to. I know that when I first got into college, I was more so, I came from, I wouldn't say I was sheltered because I know a lot of what's going on in life, but this was a whole new ball game. I'm meeting people from completely different backgrounds, people who I've never interacted before, just meeting new people from all over everywhere. And so it definitely took a level of me having to get out of my comfort zone, talk to new people, hear about their experiences, listen to the things that people are going on or have going on, because being in Tallahassee, you see people who are from here. Maybe a few people may have moved, but most people around you, you grow up with them. They're from here. You hear about their experiences, but when you hear about it from people who are from all over the world, it's completely different. But another thing I learned is that you will be presented with many opportunities to try new things when you're in college. However, you should use your discernment, trust your instincts, and know what you can and can't handle. That's a big lesson, not just for college, just for life in general. We have to learn how to know what we can and can't handle, because I think sometimes we get caught up in the fact that, oh, everybody's doing this and everybody's doing that, so I have to, or I have to join and I have to do that. But y'all, one thing that I have seen and I have learned is that anytime there's been something going on with college, if I didn't feel like something was right in my spirit to go, or I just felt like, not today, 9 times out of 10, when I didn't go to something or, didn't partake in something, something bad happened, something negative happened. And I just felt that discernment within me. That's most likely a godly thing that I have gotten from God to feel that. But I would tell any person going into college, yes, have fun, be open to new possibilities and new opportunities to showcase who you are, to try new things, to live life, to have fun. But please know what you can and can't handle. Don't go to college and get buck wild and do things just because of the fact that everybody else is doing it, because everybody's limits is not your limits. Everything that people do is tied to where you're going, tied to your destiny. You have to know and remember the reason why you came. And that brings me to the next thing I learned, which is you will get into college. And when you get into college, especially on an HBCU campus, there's going to be a lot of events and they're fun to partake in. And it's okay to have fun. It's okay to attend things, but remember your why. Remember why you came to college. Remember, have something that constantly shows you, okay, I'm having fun, I'm doing stuff, but at the end of the day, I didn't come here just to party all day. I didn't come here just to hang out with my friends all day. I didn't come here to sit stagnant and not grow. The whole purpose of going to college is to discover yourself and build skills that will help you become the next adult version of yourself, so that when you go into the real world, when you start adulting full time, you're able to have all the necessary skills you need career wise and personally. And so remember your why. I think it's so sad. I've said when I first came into college, when I think of all the people who I was at orientation with, and then looking at kind of how the semester and the academic year ended, there are a lot of people who finished strong. But unfortunately, there's some people who I know that, they came to college, they got a little bit too much fun, and they forgot their why. And so they're not in a great position right now. But y'all, we have to remember our why. I knew my why of why I went to college, simply because I know I want to grow myself in the journalism and the media world. And I know all the things that I want to do, but I keep my focus. I encourage you, if there's something that motivates you, I have a picture in my room that shows my achievements from high school, just as a reminder to keep going, or a vision board. Remember why you came to college. You're not spending money just for you to have a free for all day. Don't waste your money. They say, do not lose the return on your investment. When you're going to college, you're investing in yourself. Do not sit there and lose that return on that deposit. You got to sit there and go through it. You got to use your discernment. You got to have fun. You can do things. You can enjoy your life, but you have to remember why you came. Another thing that I've learned, even just being in my first year of college, is that a lot of people in our generation, we are not as social anymore. Everybody's more to their phones. There would be times where I'm in line at the hub at FAM to get some food. And, growing up, when we're in lines and different things, normally to make the time go by fast, people are talking to each other. I don't know if y'all have ever been to an amusement park where the line was like 30 minutes to an hour long. Normally, people, you start interacting and talking to people you've never met before. You start having fun, making new connections. But when I was in the line, I remember there was one time where I'm standing in line and every single person was on their phones and everybody was glued to a screen. So the thing that I had to learn was I'm a talker, so it's not hard for me, but I had to learn to be the person who talks to somebody on the elevator and give somebody a random compliment, because sometimes people are not just on their phones because of the fact that, oh, I'm glued to social media. Sometimes people are genuinely going through things and they're trying to hold themselves together. And I can remember just even going up to my dorm, being on the elevator. May not talk every single time I get there, but there would be sometimes where I'm on the elevator or riding. You might as well talk to the person because it's a stop in between. You know how the elevator works. And so when I would be on the elevator, I think there was one time there was this girl in there, and I could just kind of sense that she was having a bad day. And so I just was like, "Hey, how are you?" And she starts explaining, "Oh, I'm okay, and I've had this to happen and that to happen." And she was going through a lot, and she hadn't had anybody who asked her in that day if she was okay, if she needed anything. And even though I never seen her again, but it was still a moment of us to connect, this moment to show kindness. I constantly walk around campus and tell people, "Oh, your hair looks nice. You look pretty. I love that outfit." I give people random compliments because life is hard. And sometimes people just need to hear every now and again that they're doing a good job, that it's a good thing that they woke up this morning, that you're proud of them for just being who they are. And I realize in those moments, that is what really made people's day. Kindness goes a long way because you never know what somebody's going through, especially in college. Everybody's going through something, whether it's something with family, whether it's trying to navigate just being away from home, whether trying to get yourself together and not knowing who you are completely. Everybody is trying to figure themselves out. So definitely be that person who's going to give that encouragement and be that to somebody. Another thing I would say is that I've learned, and I saw this in high school, saw this when I was doing dual enrollment, but it makes so much more of a difference now. Talk to y'all professors. Like, not just hello, but talk to your professors. A lot of times they genuinely appreciate students who show that they're dedicated to their education, but not even just that they're dedicated to their education, but who just want to have a conversation with them. So many people just show up. They don't ask the professors, "How are you doing? What's going on? Is there anything I can help with?" And some people will call that teacher's pet and different things like that. But y'all, there's power in connection when you connect to your professors. And I'm not saying this to say that, oh, you only connect from to your professors to get something from there. I'm not. What I'm saying is when you sit there and you show up in class and you show your dedication and you connect with your professors, you never know what that connection could do. That could be somebody who can give you a recommendation letter. You could be at the point where you need to graduate and you need somebody to sign off on you graduating and they step right on in. That could be a professor who presents you with a job opportunity. You never know what connecting with the professor can do. Personal experience, I learned that. I had a professor, was in her class online, didn't even get to meet her in person yet, but I would schedule meetings to talk to her when I was confused. I scheduled meetings just to, get to know her, to take initiative, to have leadership. And I wasn't doing that well in that class, y'all, not well at all. But just from me taking initiative and being able to speak with her, she was able to give me grace with my grade. And she was able to present me with an opportunity to get more journalism experience. And I'm glad that I made that connection, not just from the benefit, but simply to have a connection with another person in my field. But y'all, it's important to connect with people. Connections really go a long way. And I'm learning that so much now because the connections that I made in high school, that I made in middle school, are still connections for some of them that I'm benefiting from right now, or we're helping each other and we're working together. And I just love the power of connections. And the last thing that I learned in college, which more so transitions to some things that I learned personally, was that your relationships with your friends will change as you grow. It's inevitable. I think that Sometimes we try our hardest to hold on to, oh, they'll still be there, or I know life gets busy, but things, we'll still talk to each other, we'll still be friends, we'll still be that. But y'all, it's kind of inevitable. However, you and your friend control how much you water a relationship with each other. That's any relationship in your life. Life is going to happen as you start to adult. You may not talk to your friends as much as you talk to them. You may not see your friends as much as you would like to. Your schedule may be like mine, which is always all over the place, never know what's going on. But you are in control of your friendships and your relationships now. School is not like that 8 to 3 where we go to school and we see each other every day and we're just in the routine of seeing each other every day throughout the week. You're embarking on a whole new journey, whole new part of your life. And that means that as you embark in this new journey, you're going to have to take things more seriously. You're going to have to prioritize things in your life. You're going to have to prioritize friendships, prioritize talking to people and calling people and checking in on people, because of the fact that everybody's moving in different points. And so I definitely would say I went through some stuff with that. And I know that it is hard. I'm not going to say it's not easy, because when you start moving and you start going to the next place in your life, sometimes you want to bring your close people with you everywhere. But the greatest thing that I think I learned this year is that even when you try to bring people with you, God's not going to take anybody out that's not meant to stay in your life. Like, God will remove people when they need to, but he'll also let people stay if they need to for certain chapters in your life. And I think that for just me, there were some things that I had to go through by myself. I had to go through personally to be able to be where I am now. Because I would say the person that I started off as at 18 to where I am now are completely different people, in the sense of how I look at myself and how I look at situations and how I have perspective on things. A funny thing that I'm learning, but not so funny, is that adulting is ghetto. Like, actually ghetto. But on a serious note, it's a lot. It's not for the weak. I was never that kid that said, oh, I can't wait to be 18. I can't wait to be an adult. And I'm not saying I have a whole thousand adult responsibilities, but even the simple thing of having a car, driving, having to pay for gas, having to pay for the own things that you want to keep yourself and your maintenance up, like, that's a whole nother aspect of life that it's just you, it's not for the weak. I don't know if it's just it might be everybody right now, because groceries are ridiculous. Getting anything right now is ridiculous. But spending my money, it's not something that I like to do, but I know I have to do it. But I think adulting teaches you a lot of things. It definitely is a place where you're pushed into a new role, because if you have a support system, you have your parents who are going to be there to back you up and to help you in situations. But it's also you having to learn, okay, sometimes I just need to work this out by myself. I need to talk with this myself. Everything I don't have to, run home, tell parents about, tell friends about. You're learning how to be independent and being in learning how to, because it's not just boundaries for talking with people, or boundaries as in, oh, I don't want people to do this, but literally learning how to set boundaries with those in your life. And I know some people are like, that's mean, I don't want to set boundaries, or I don't want to make people feel some type of way. Baby, it's better for your mental health and peace. There's been so many times, even within this year, that somebody may say something to me, they want to pick a fight, and I just don't have the energy for it, so I'll let you have it. You got it. I'm just going to establish that boundary. Or sometimes people may feel like they have the right to have an opinion about something, or say something regarding my life when it's not in their willpower to. And sometimes you just have to establish, say, okay, I'm not going to go there with you. You may have one conversation with a friend and realize y'all disagree on certain things. And let me tell you, the best statement is disagree, agree to disagree, because sometimes that will save you from a long conversation that was never meant to happen. Always respond to everything, but I definitely had to learn how to establish boundaries. That's even with social media. Like that's the biggest thing I've learned this year with social media is establishing boundaries. I realized that I can't consume everything all day, every day. I can't sit on social media all every day. Sometimes I have to take cleanses where I say, this week I'm just off Instagram, I'm off Facebook, I'm off all social media platforms because I can't do it. It distracts me from my work and it distracts me from my time with God, and I can't have that. Another thing that I've learned is that the people that you love sometimes can really, and it's a part of life, but it's something that happens. We get busy. There's times where we're super stressed out. Somebody can lash out on you by accident. Somebody can say something out of pocket, out of turn, and it just goes completely out the window. You may lose people who are close to you who you thought were going to be in your life forever, and then they're not, and they may do things, but I realize too that sometimes when God needs somebody to exit your life, he's going to have them make a lot of noise while they're exiting your life because of the fact that he knows that they're not supposed to be there. And I definitely think that the people that are in my life now, the people who are my day ones, people who I talk to all day, every day, I think God placed them in my life strategically right now for where I'm going and what I need, and cleared out the ones that I didn't necessarily need to have in my life on a consistent basis. I would say too, another thing I learned is that life moves fast. And so you have to take as much time to live in the moment and cherish every precious moment that you get. I say that because, like I said, I came into college with my AA. So I'm 18, taking junior classes, kind of feeling like life is speeding up. Time is honestly going super fast because I promise we just started my first year. It's so much about time just constantly moving and moving. And I had to learn that even when life is going on, that sometimes I have to go to a quiet place. Sometimes I have to take a moment to breathe. Sometimes I have to take a moment to go to the park, get some fresh air. That while all the messiness and all the busyness is going on in my life, I need a moment to just woosah. I need a moment to reflect on what I did in that day, reflect on how I can make my life better. I did a lot of journaling in this year, a lot of times where I'd have to, if college was getting a lot, if life was starting to be a lot, if my emotions were everywhere and mentally things were just not in a good place, I had to pause and say, okay, I'm going to take this specific day of my week to have a real mental wellness check with myself. Go somewhere and be honest with myself to where I could write how I was feeling, or if I'm feeling a certain way, what is making me feel this way and how can I change that? I definitely said this is the year where I was the realist with myself, where I didn't say, oh, go through things, but I gave myself the space and the room to feel everything that I was feeling. Dark moments. I gave myself the space to be in a good place. You know why? Because it helps. When you go through the emotions and you feel all the feels, you heal yourself the more and the more that you do it. And I think that a lot of things that I might have tried to keep buried inside or not talk going through, I was able to release that out and be real with myself, have friends who would let me vent, who would let me talk about it, those who could help. And it truly has helped me blossom into a better version of myself where I am very conscious of my emotions. I'm very aware of how I feel and I'm comfortable communicating how I feel. And I encourage you to do that. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable because in those moments, in that place of vulnerability, in that moment where you're going through something, giving yourself the space in the room to feel everything will help you get it out so you're not constantly putting those emotions onto other people or misplacing them in the wrong situation when they have nothing to do with that situation. Give yourself the space to feel, the room to feel. Another thing that I learned is, like I said, this year, and I don't know how many college students can relate to this, but when you grow up in a you that at some point in your life you're going to have to for yourself. You're not going to just be in the place where you're just going to church and they're pouring stuff into you, but there's some times where you go to church and yes, church is great, you deal with things spiritually, especially when you are in where you're spiritually strong and then you're going into college when there's so much temptation and things around you. I learned a lot about myself spiritually this year. I would say that I went on a journey. I definitely have grown a greater and higher appreciation and love for God and fire for God, because people who my roommate will tell you right now, when we had stuff going on and leaning to social media or leaning to stupid and negative vices, when I had moments where I'm just like, okay, God, I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what's happening. In one of my darkest moments, I would pick up my Bible, I pick up my journal, I'm reading, and I did not realize the importance and the power of doing that until I was in college, having to make the decision for myself. Because a lot of times when you're growing up in church, situations, I think that's what brings me, or what has brought me, what brings a lot of college students closer to God, is knowing that when we're going through this stuff, we can't do this alone. And I think being able to lean into God and lean into the moments where I needed to get that, college definitely has shown me, and this year being a legal adult has shown me the importance of really taking time to get into God's word myself, to get myself spiritually sound, to recognize when the things are going on. But I do encourage you that if you are a believer in Christ, don't just wait till Sunday. Don't just wait to the moments where you absolutely need to call on God. Take a moment to truly put it into your day. Because I find myself happier when I pray and I write and I read. Don't piss me off as much during the day. I don't have attitudes. My day tends to be 10 times higher because I started my day in greatness and I'm ending my day in greatness. And I encourage everybody to do that. Another thing that I learned is, as a godly woman, it's hard to date on campus. That's just a real thing. Trying to find people that you connect with and trying to find people who are equally yoked to, that's hard. And that's a whole nother conversation for another show that I definitely want to talk about. But trying to find people who share the same regard you have for God, trying to find friends, not even a relationship, but friends who believe in God, have fire for God, want to align yourself with the right people. Because some people get to college and they associate themselves with people they know they shouldn't, and it takes them down a rough path, myself in situations that I already know are going to be to my own detriment. So I'm happy that got people who really are there for me, who believe in God the way I believe in God, and that I'm able to talk to them about it. I'm able to keep moving. But most importantly, I've learned how to love myself in an entirely new way this year, going on my spiritual journey towards the end of 18 has completely altered the way I love and see myself, because I see the way God loves me. I see the way God appreciates me, and it gives me a higher regard for myself. I've cut off a lot of my stressors. I can say honestly that this is probably one of the happiest places I've ever been in my life. And I'm so excited for what chapter 19 is going to bring to me. And I just can't wait to see what great things and what new lessons I learn next year. I think I might want to start doing this maybe every year, because I feel like this is kind of something I can reflect on when I am 19, going into another year, to say, okay, this is how I was feeling at 18. But I encourage everybody to do this. That's all I really have for the show. I want it to be transparent and really have a moment to say, this is what I've learned, this is where I'm at, and this is where I'm going. I truly believe chapter 19 is going to be one of the greatest years of my life. I'm looking forward to all that God has in store for me. I'm looking forward to what all I'm going to be able to do in the journalism world. I ask that y'all pray my strength in the Lord. And I'm just so grateful to every single person. But before I leave and conclude, I ask that you connect with me on all my social media platforms. You can subscribe to YouTube at KCK Inspire Moments with Kaylin to hear more of my past podcast/radio shows and just to see what's going on with Kaylin's Caring Connection. You can follow me at Instagram at Kaylin Cares 15. You can follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn at Kaylin's Caring Connection. And on those three platforms, you can see us share stuff about what's going on in the community, more about Kaylin's Caring Connection and upcoming shows. And last but certainly not least, please go to our website, which is www.kaylinscaringconnection.com, and check out the website. We have more in store for Kaylin's Caring Connection this year. And I'm telling y'all, I'm so excited. So please stay on the lookout. Now, remember, I always say as I wrap up the show, you are loved, you are enough, and you matter. Don't let anyone tell you any different. And thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week for the KCK Inspire Moments with Kaylin radio show. Until next time, be blessed.